Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Well, it's official. CC Sabathia will be inducted to the Baseball Hall of Fame, joining Ichiro Suzuki, I guess a former teammate at one time, but of course known as a Seattle Mariner, and finally, last but not least, Billy Wagner getting in finally on his last shot there in his 10th season. So the Hall of Fame will have 3 new inductees I guess later this year in the summer at Cooperstown. So again, really no big surprises here. I mean, Ichiro obviously was a no-brainer. CC was a very strongly most likely. Wagner on the edge there, but obviously we're in a different age now of the closer, which you didn't really have 35, 40 years ago in the same way. But I guess that's why you see, obviously Mariano Rivera is just a no-brainer. But, when you have like the Trevor Hoffmans of the world, the Billy Wagners of the world, are they really Hall of Famers, or are they just really, really good, closers? But nevertheless, Billy Wagner getting in there finally, so we'll have 3 new there. So we'll kind of get into it a little bit, and really no big shockers. We'll just get into some of the numbers here, and of course, probably something we didn't cover much here. I might have been mentioned here, but maybe didn't mention on the YouTube version of the show that CC saying that if he does get selected to Hall of Fame, he will go in with the New York Yankee hat, and I'll kind of just go over some of the numbers why it would kind of make sense. So we got a lot to go here. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast, Section 420, Talkin Yankees, the podcast. And as I mentioned before, there's a YouTube version of the show. Just dropped the latest episode a couple of days ago. Kind of got into the whole, Roki Sasaki going to the Dodgers, as well as the Yankees signing Dom Smith. You figure, why would Yankees bother with Dom Smith? They're not really impressive, but was one stat there maybe that caught Cashman's eye there. So you want to check that episode out. Go to YouTube, search for Section 420 Talkin Yankees, and subscribe there as well. So the other day it was announced officially. The votes came out. Again, the votes had to be in by the end of December, and they made the official announcement on the 21st. That was Tuesday of this week. And yes, we have 3 new members now of the Baseball Hall of Fame up there in Cooperstown, voted in by the writers there. So they don't have to worry about some Veterans Committee, getting them in 20 years later. Ichiro really said, it should have been unanimous. Kind of got stiffed a little bit like Jeter. There was just that one person there, that one holdout that for very reason, whether it was a personal gripe or there's just some writers, I guess, they have a philosophy of this, no one gets in on the first vote. I don't know. Maybe it's an old school thing. Someone's clinging to that, but kind of ridiculous. So I guess we'll just first get into Ichiro because this is kind of a quick one there. So it got 393 out of the available 394 votes. So that put him at 99.746 percentage. Now you think that maybe that would be, it's a little bit higher than Jeter's got because you figure maybe there's more people voting, but actually that's opposite the case. Actually, more people voted the year that Jeter was eligible, so Jeter's percentage is just a tad bit higher than Ichiro's. So Jeter's percentage is 99.748. So it's Jeter's 8 versus Ichiro's 6, and the reason for that is that Jeter's was 396 votes out of 397 votes. So I'm not sure what happened between the this past this year and whatever the year that Jeter got in. Seems like there was at least 3 more eligible votes to be out there. So Jeter technically got a couple more votes. So that's why his percentage is 0.002 more than Ichiro there. But again, whoever it was for Jeter and whoever it was for Ichiro, kind of silly because they should be unanimous Hall of Fame, is similar that Mariano Rivera was. And again, Ichiro, no-brainer there. Just the numbers he put up, over 3,000 hits, and just incredible play. The MVPs and Rookie of the Year, and just everything would come with them. And again, he did this, not exactly coming to the States at age 21, 22. How did that happen? He probably would put up an even more incredible number. Maybe then he would have been a 100% unanimous vote getter there. But again, he was just a no doubt about it Hall of Fame there, so not really much to go on. CC Sabathia, again, very most likely he was going to go in. We did break down some of his stats a couple episodes ago here, and I predicted that he would get in, so I'm not going to beat the hell out of that. But there's certain things. The Cy Young Award, 251 wins, which, in this day and age with starting pitchers, you're not going to see 300-game winners anymore. It's just the way it is. So 251, very impressive. One of the best pitchers of his era, World Championship with the Yankees, won 20 games multiple times there, and just, the 3,000 strikeouts. And also, the most, I guess, the third most strikeouts for a left-handed pitcher there, just behind, Randy Johnson and Steve Carlton. So, this was just, par for the course. You knew he was going to get in, and somehow, some way, he wasn't getting on the first year. Definitely the second or third, but yeah, this seemed this was going to happen, and got a little bit higher than I thought. So he actually got 86.8%. Now, you may recall he needs 75% to qualify there. So I figured maybe there would be more holdouts and maybe he'd get 81, 82%. But actually the 86%, a little higher than I thought he would get there. So, good job by the Baseball Writers Association, all the other people who have a vote in this thing. And of course, you're a Yankee fan, you're wondering, is he going to go in with the Yankee hat? And he kind of confirmed this a way back. And again, I'm not sure if I mentioned it here or not. I just didn't get time. I just got distracted. But he did say that if he does get voted in, he will go into the New York Yankee hat. Now, we know he spent a significant amount of time in Cleveland as an Indian when he first came up there. And you figure, that was kind of the team he grew up with. And he kind of spent a great deal of time there. But it kind of just makes more sense for the Yankees. Of course, he was an ace-like pitcher, in his final years with Cleveland. But when he came to the Yankees, it was his rotation. It was his, not saying it was his team. Obviously, he was coming to a team that has Jeter and the core four and A-Rod. But in terms of the starting pitcher, he was the ace. He was the Yankees' ace. And you just look at that first season he came here, what he did, getting them a world championship. And then in the playoffs there, pitching his heart out, going on 3 days rest a couple of times, and getting the Yankees their first world championship since the 2000 Yankees there. So, ending that drought at the time there. Now we still have a big drought going on right now, but nevertheless, just being a save there. And just, having a really great career with the Yankees. His 2010 was probably even more impressive than his 2009. Yeah, he did stumble a little bit. He had a couple of seasons there, 2012, 2013, 2014. Dealing with some injuries, and obviously, it wasn't becoming a power. Obviously, he lost the fastball, wasn't a power pitch anymore. Needed to make some adjustments and, take the weight off a little bit, see if that helped anything. Didn't really help anything. He had a knee injury, and then, some of those personal demon problems, apparently with drinking or something like that. So had to check himself into rehab in 2015. There. So he had a little turbulence there towards the end there, but he definitely rebounded back. Had a very good 2016, 2017. Get the Yankees back into the playoffs in a deep run against the Houston Astros. And again, good 2018 and 2019. Unfortunately, maybe the wheels started to come off a little bit. Literally just pitched his heart out, pitched his arm until his arm ripped off there. I guess I think it was Game 4, I believe, at home against the Astros there, where he tried to come out of the bullpen and try to warm up, and he just couldn't even throw anymore. So he left it all on the field there, and obviously got a big hand from the Yankee Stadium crowd, got a big hand from even the opposing Houston Astros team. And, Garrett Cole at the time with the Astros kind of saw that, and it was a little bit of the inspiration that, made him want to come here just to see how that whole thing unfolded and see how he was treated there. So, though that and the $330 million also probably helped as well. But nevertheless, Garrett Cole definitely took notice of that. Now, if you want to make the argument, we should go with a Cleveland hat, we should go with a Yankee hat. So the way it originally worked is that the hall would determine what hat you would have. Then they kind of kicked that over to the players. And I think there was some issue maybe with Goose Gossage, who you normally think of him as a Yankee, but there was a certain situation where Gossage put on the Yankee hat. People started complaining a little bit because, getting Gossage pitched around a little bit, spent a lot of time with San Diego as well. That, Yankees are kind of collecting too many hats in the Hall of Fame, stuff like that. So they kind of took it away from the players and they let the baseball hall decide there. But I think now they've kind of kicked it back to the players. So this has kind of gone back and forth a little bit, a little tug of war. But CC said that he would go with the Yankees, and I just think it's more appropriate. I know he spent some time in Cleveland, but when he came to the Yankees, he became the ace. Yes, he was kind of the ace with Cleveland there, but it was kind of, you come up a little bit, you're a kid and a little bit, and I know, Cleveland made the playoffs in 2007, actually bounced the Yankees out a little bit, but he made his acolytes as a New York Yankee. Again, the World Series ring and some of the deeper postseason runs was done as a New York Yankee, and if you want to look at his tenure between both clubs, so with the New York Yankees, was there for 11 seasons, pitched to a record of 134 and 88, so it's a winning percentage of .604. Now you look at his years in Cleveland, didn't spend as much time, only 8 years, had a record still pretty good, 106 and 71, and the winning percentage just about the same, but just a smidgen under at .599. So the Yankees was .604 with the Cleveland .5999. So just a difference of .005 there. So just a little bit better with the Yankees. But again, I think a lot of it had to do with had really 3 bad seasons with the Yankees, which was just injuries and personal demons and kind of adjustments he had to make there. And he was able to rebound. So, not to make excuses for him, and you can't assume things, but overall his body of work was much more impressive as a New York Yankee than it was with Cleveland, of course, and also helps with the One World Championship. Now, overall, he played in 307 games for the Yankees. Now, 306 of those were as a starter, so I guess there was 1 point somewhere along the way he came out in a relief, and maybe that was towards the last season there when the Yankees were kind of considering him, to come out of the bullpen as a jack of all trades there. Now, for Cleveland, all 237 games he played for Cleveland, all were games he started. So, again, congratulations to CC Sabathia. And again, I guess this summer, usually I think it's around July or August. That's when they have the official ceremony. And we'll see who joins CC up there. I'm sure he'll have some former teammates. I'm sure, such as Jeter will be up there, and A-Rod and so forth. And, some of the Yankee teammates he's had over the years there. And maybe because with Girardi as well, because I guess he got a little taste of Boone as well. He got, a little Boone, but I'm sure Torre, Girardi, and Boone will be up there with CC. And the last but not least, of course, Billy Wagner, longtime closer for the Houston Astros and bounced around a little bit, was with the Mets. And he had a couple of meltdowns here. But overall, you'd say, was he one of the best of the game at his position during his tenure? Yes, you would say that. So I'm not saying it's outrageous. It's okay, And he never really got the opportunities that Mariano Rivera did, so we don't know, what he would have been in the postseason. Again, Mariano's just kind of a rare entity, and you can't kind of compare the players to them. Trevor Hoffman, Billy Wagner, I think they're kind of right up there with each other, more or less. Kind of fun thing with Wagner, supposedly he was the one that came out with the Enter Sandman before Mariano did, and then there's always back and forth who's the original Sandman. But, of course, Mariano just would, being a New York Yankee and with his body success in the championships, he kind of really embodied the Enter Sandman thing. But technically, they always say that Billy Wagner had it first. And even when Billy Wagner came to the Mets, it was kind of an issue that he was trying to come out to the Enter the Sandman thing. And there was kind of a bit of a controversy at the time, if you remember. But he ended up getting 82.5%, which is, I guess, 7 points higher than the 75, needed to get in. And this was his final season. So, I guess, give it to him. Why not? Again, it's not terrible. Again, he was one of the best closers during his tenure there, so you got to give him that. And things are differently now in baseball. You view bullpen guys and closer guys a little different now because the game's is different. You don't have a starter now going out 8-9 innings anymore. It's these starters barely go 6 innings, and the bullpen now means a lot more now than it did years ago. So you kind of have to make adjustments in your thinking. So that's the episode. Keep it short and sweet. No surprises here, but CC and Ichiro going as Hall of Famers. We know that. CC will definitely have the Yankee hat. Ichiro will have the Seattle Mariner hat, even though he wore a Yankee hat for a couple of seasons there. And Billy Wagner probably goes in as a Houston Astro, probably where his best seasons there. Is he a little bit of a, I'm not saying a weak link there. I mean, he's not a no doubt about it, but it's not terrible. So 3 players in, that's fine. It's not like you have a whole smorgasbord of 12 new guys into the Hall of Fame, which is watering down. So I think it's a good class, good group there. And congratulations to all, and we'll catch you next time.